But just trying to, we skipped all the disclaimer. Of course, paid programming, opinions of Wade and Carter, ours and ours alone, unless we decide that they're somebody else's. And Magic doesn't take any responsibility for us. All they do is take money. So that's the way this rolls.
It's a good capitalist world, but we will do this, though.
And we will rebuild.
Yes, we will. We were skipping that today.
Let's skip that today, too.
Okay. We'll go right into this.
Yeah. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great friends we have at Deerland Feed. It's 81 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high of 90. Looks exactly like yesterday on the weather rock.
It does, doesn't it?
Plan on just another kind of muggy, humid day. Although there was a little breeze out of the south yesterday, it wasn't bad.
No, I'm convinced Facebook is against the Wade and Carter show.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
I truly do believe that somehow we've tripped one of their algorithms, and they now say, "Let's put a glitch in there. Let's do this."
I don't know if it's the Wade algorithm or the Carter algorithm, but one of them is jacked up.
I'll take the credit. Thank you for that.
There we go.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Well, we were having to go old school almost, and had to run it. We started it on Brent's phone because, for whatever reason, the Facebook gods did not smile upon us this morning to try to get things up and running normally.
We started on a phone back in the day. You remember that? We propped it up in the corner.
Yeah.
It was an afterthought. We were going to do a radio show, and we propped up a phone and thought, well, hey, we could stream this live on Facebook. And the next thing you know, Facebook became the way to do it. I'll tell you, if it wasn't for the Wade and Carter program, I would totally abandon Facebook. I think it's a highly political child. Well, did you see the other day when Twitter was banned in Nigeria? Twitter tried to play the card of that Twitter is a basic human right.
Yeah, come on, dude. Twitter isn't.
So on one hand, they turn around and say, hey, we're a private enterprise. We can ban anybody we want. We're a private company. We can do whatever we want. Donald Trump, sit down. And then on the other side of that, on the flip side, they want to hide behind the rights of free speech. The hypocrisy of the left is always the easiest way to recognize the left.
And I'm not even sure Nigeria has a constitution like ours that would prevent that even would protect freedom of speech. I mean, I don't know. They might, but given how their government acts, I kind of doubt it.
Well, just through natural evolution, many countries have kind of evolved into me too. Kind of what they're doing in the U.S. We kind of like that. Drives the Russians nuts.
It does. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, I know that you know. I know from the motherland.
Scott Snow is in this morning. Justin Glass, good morning. Rena Scherer is in. Scott Tomko, H.R. Mallory, the Iceman, Janelle Sarles, good morning. David Glass is in. Bobby Leister, I'm sure the Leisterometer is holding steady. Diane Tippett, good morning. Karen Webb, Chris Conrad. We're working on that, Chris. We've got to get a better quality than our the built-in webcam off the laptop. We have to go.
The YouTube format is just very simply the little thumbnail camera that's on Ash's laptop. We would have to go to.
We need a better broadcast quality camera.
A studio. We need some 1080p and.
It can be done.
When I'm sincere, when I'm pleading, I want people to see the wrinkles under my eyes. I want to zoom. I want makeup. I want people to come in and make us look good.
So the Leisterometer is holding steady at 1,004. Let's see who else is in. Kendra Douglas, good morning. Lori Burris says it's definitely Carter that trips the Facebook algorithm.
Thanks, Lori. Thank you, Lori.
Thanks for having my back.
Yeah. Everybody likes you. He's like, I'm a cop. He's a fireman. Right, everybody likes a fireman.
Can we defund you?
Well, you could. You could, but then you're going to need me.
Well, yeah, who's going to pay for the airtime?
Right.
Defund you and your mom.
My mom pays for the airtime.
That's true. Scott Tom goes in this morning. Terry Murray, Matt Boucher.
What a great group.
Yeah, they changed up the Facebook page a little bit. It's harder to see.
Is there a way to hide that?
I thought, no, I can hide the comments, but I can't hide. Yeah.
It's
there.
I do. I think that they consciously go.
I do too.
There's a little Asian guy just wedging away at us.
So, no, I think it's Zuckerberg and one of his minions.
Zuckerberg.
I think Zuckerberg still probably gets involved daily in some of this stuff that he started.
Do you think he walks the halls looking for a little adoration?
How come nobody's ever called him out that basically what he founded Facebook for was to basically be a former high school hookup place?
Yeah, because have you seen the guy? He's not a face jock.
No.
He needed Facebook.
Absolutely. So,
truth in advertising could come back to haunt him. Look at all those people.
Oh, I'm trying to see if I missed anything. Mark Knipling, J. Mark Jameson, Christina Wise, Scott Tomko.
They're tuning in to hear our friend Aaron Franco.
They probably are. Matt Boucher's in. We need to get Matt in. Now that all this rain is going away, it might be time to try to figure out how we wring out our plants and make them survive. But let's take our first break, and then we'll bring City Council District 3 candidate Aaron Franco in.
Do that for a minute. You do that. Start on that.
All right. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. For all your tow-to, they're your go-to. If you're broken down on the side of the road, if your battery won't start in the driveway, they'll come and give you a jump start. Allen's is the one I call, the one you should call, the only one we ever call, 578-6300. VCS Company is the Rocket Oilfield Services and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer. We talked about first responders, good cop, bad cop.
FirstNet.
That's the one. Only available through AT&T, and you can get signed up for the service at the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer right there, part of the VCS Communication Empire owned by the Hartmans. This is a dedicated network just for first responders. So if crap hits the fan,
discrimination,
you're
man.
not going to lose.
That's discrimination.
Your internet connection.
You're appropriating first responder status, dude.
I'm not.
We're going to storm the courthouse.
Is that what we're going to do?
Chesnick Furniture, folks, 101 years in downtown Victoria.
71 at 116 West One Lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Go see Bobby Leon. Go in there and buy some furniture. Have one. Tell them Wade and Carter sent you, period. That'll help. That'll get you free delivery today. Of course, if you tell them that you just stumbled in off the street, you'll get free delivery today. But especially if you tell them Wade and Carter sent you. So do that at Chesnick Furniture. Bobby Leon and his family will take care of yours. You just do better at Chesnick. And then, of course, Texas Coast Limo. Big things working. Big wedding season. We're sneaking up on Project Tickle Pink.
Down here, it's always wedding season, though. I mean, it's not like you got 5 months of winter where nobody wants to put on a white dress and walk down the aisle.
Here's an idea.
Afraid to slip and fall.
When you finally get it right and you call the law offices of Steve Kidder, take a limo to get your divorce.
There's a good idea.
Just go, get out of my limo.
But wait a second. If you get it right, there is no divorce.
Correct.
But regardless, Bob Constantine and his limo, fleet of limos, all sizes, party buses available, SUV type limos. They've got a great trolley for weddings and special occasions. He can handle any size vehicle you need to take you and your party wherever you want to go.
So we're going to have a guest. We're going to have a guest, and I'm going to play some intro music for our guest. And the first person who calls, 575-9509. That's 361-575-9509. You call the Wade and Carter program. I'm going to bring you a Wade and Carter cap today.
There you go. So somebody from Canada will call just to test you.
Tell me the significance of this song.
I don't know, but it's got to be.
You can't answer the question.
No, I can't. I have no idea.
Here's the big finish.
All right, can we?
All right, there you go. That's the end of that. So somebody think about it. Think about why I played that, and we're introducing Aaron Franco.
Iceman says nobody's old enough to know what that might mean.
I'm going to answer the question in 30 seconds. I'm going to answer.
You might have to because you might be the only one that could answer it.
Dude, it's the DeFranco family. The DeFranco family. Aaron was too young to be in the band.
He dropped the duh.
Right.
When he set off on his own. He didn't want the family name to hold him back.
Look. You can't get elected to city council with a duh in your name. You've got to be decisive. You've got to be insightful. You've got to be aggressive and intelligent.
You can be Franco, not DeFranco.
You just have to be Franco. In fact, you can just be Frank. Can I be Frank? No, your name is Aaron. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
Good. Welcome to the program.
Now you know what you're in for this morning.
Yeah, it's good. No, well, you've already done the debates. You've already sat through the advocate. Why do you want to do this? Why do you think you're qualified? You've already done that. And you're like, hey, I'm not qualified. I'm 20-something years old. I want to shake this town up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no problem with that. Tell us why you're running. What are you doing?
Really, I decided to run for city council, not because I thought anyone was doing a bad job. I really just wanted, like you said, to shake it up in the community. Really get involved, get my name out there, and let my voice be heard. And really just get people out to the polls and get into that habit of voting. So that way they don't get into the habit of, I don't need to go out to vote because, if I don't vote, the person that I want to win is going to be elected anyway. So,
well, the rate we're on in this city with 2 elections in 3 months, we're going to establish a pattern and a habit here.
Pretty sure Michael Cloud will be on this ballot as well. You can vote for him again. He's been elected like 6 times in the last 3 years.
And he's a one-term congressman.
Yeah, he's been there one term, and he gets to run as an incumbent every other quarter.
Yeah. So what sort of, nobody's doing a bad job, but you've got a fresh set of eyes. What do your fresh set of eyes see that needs a fresh set of eyes in Victoria?
Yeah, so I really think that we just need to, look at everything as a whole and not so much focus on what we've done in the past, but what we can do in the future to help improve our city. And, really focus on, where we want Victoria to be and how we want our city to develop. And, I always say that, we need to focus on old Victoria and new Victoria. And me being the youngest candidate on the ballot and being new to the city, I feel like I'd be the perfect person to bridge the gap between new and old.
Aaron Franco, City Council District 3 candidate, joining us this morning. Because not only are you the youngest person on the ballot, I think you're the newest person in Victoria. You moved here a couple of years ago, so you're the freshest set of eyes, so to speak.
Callie Fromley, well played and touche.
Yeah.
Touche.
What do you see? Because you mentioned that you see a division between Old Victoria and New Victoria. So how does that play out? How did you come to that determination that there really is a divide, and is it something that is kind of driving a wedge in this city, or is it something that shouldn't be focused on as much?
Well, I don't really say that it's a divide between old and new. I think it's just a way of thinking where we want things to remain traditional, which I completely agree with. I think Victoria has some great tradition, and I don't think that we should get rid of those. But I also think that we need to think about our new community and how we want the city to continue to grow. And we want new people to come here and establish their lives here, build their families, and be in our schools and open businesses and really help develop this community.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Corpus Christi.
So you moved here from Corpus?
I did. I actually moved from Corpus to Houston, back to Corpus, and then I moved up here to Victoria.
And is there frost in Corpus?
There is. Yes.
Okay.
So you transferred or had an opportunity? Is that how that worked?
Yeah. So when I moved back to Corpus from Houston is when I started my career with Frost.
Okay.
I started from the bottom. I was a part-time teller, worked my way up to financial center manager, and that's what really brought me to Victoria. I got the opportunity to come here and open a brand new financial center. Yeah,
no, it's a beautiful facility too. And now that you've got the cladding, now that the building is actually complete, it's very nice.
That's really.
I liked the scaffolding. It looked like we're in.
It was industrial.
Yeah, we're going.
So
it was there for a year. It wasn't your fault.
You talked about bringing new people to Victoria, bringing people to Victoria. Something that I brought up in the debate is how Victoria has lagged behind the rest of the state, or the state as a whole, in population growth. Victoria's population over the last 10 years has grown by about 6%. The state 3 times that. So how do you, if you're elected to District 3, how would you do that? How would you bring more people to Victoria and help the city grow?
I think we really just need to market our community. I didn't really know what to expect when I was moving to Victoria. I tried my best.
So it's lived up to those expectations then.
Yeah, I did my own research. I looked up what the city has to offer, and when I got here, I tried to get involved. I joined the theater. I volunteered. I tried my best to be part of the community. But if you don't do that yourself, there's a lot in this town that you don't know about.
Right.
So I really think you need to market this community, because if you do, people will want to be here. I absolutely love it.
Good.
Janelle Sarl says, can Victoria finally pick who the heck we are? Are we a college town? Are we a bunch of mom and pop shops? Are we a toxic waste dump? I guess that's one. Doesn't necessarily affect District 3, but affects Victoria. How do you feel about this, for lack of a better term, sludge site or recycling of what processed zinc that's going to be, that's been proposed for the Barge Canal area?
Well, I don't really think I'm a fan of it. I've heard a lot of people in the community that are opposed to it, and the negative side effects of it and what it can do to our future development. And I really think that, she's right. We are kind of like a hodgepodge city, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
We want to be a college town. We want to be a mom and pop place because we want to develop our future, but also, pay homage to the people that got us here.
I'll throw in, just because we have a free speech. I'm an unfettered market guy. I will throw in the research I have done. So it's easy. It's a beautiful knee jerk for the average guy on the street to say, I don't want that zinc recycling plant. That could be polluting. Well, as Victoria has probably, pick a number, Ash, 5-8 times the cancer cases of anybody else on the planet. This is the cancer hotspot.
Observably more ALS cases than I've ever seen anywhere.
But we've got, what are they called down here? Ineos and DuPont and yada, 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 and Formosa. But nobody complains about them because their daddy works there. So they don't complain about them. And they're all south of us. And the wind blows all their crap up here. And our people die by the gazillions. I mean, we need Cher to come make a movie about it. But yet somebody wants to bring in a plant that actually recycles, a plant that actually is a green-leaning type unit that is quadruple redundant. Everything is scrubbed. There's constant monitoring of all the levels of anything. They can shut it down in a heartbeat. It's not like it's a nuclear reactor that's going to burn through the ground. It's not Chernobyl. And yet everybody's like, well, I'm against that. It's a toxic waste dump. If it brings in 500 jobs, shut up. Shut up. Build the houses and let's move forward together and hold them accountable. Because I drive by all the time. Nobody wants to say the magic word Formosa. I drive by that dump all the time. They're blowing a flare down there the size of a mobile home.
Yeah, you can see it from like water.
And all they're doing is firing off carcinogens, man. I mean, that's all that is. And then we all breathe it in and we all die of cancer up here. It is what it is. I think if there's a way to bring a bunch of jobs to Victoria, you find a way to make it safe and you go on. Yeah. And that's why, and that's the leadership that I need on city council. I don't need somebody to say, well, I think a lot of Victorians against it, but here's why we're going to do it. That's what I want out of you. I think you can do that. You're young. You're dumb. You can just go, I'm young and dumb, and I'm just going to do it. I like that. Tell me about your work at Frost. So you're the banking center manager?
Yes, sir. So I'm the financial manager. I manage all of the consumer banking part of the bank. So all the personal stuff.
What does Randy Mayak do over there?
He's one of our commercial lenders.
Super nice guy.
Separate department, but we work really closely together. We're a tight-knit community there.
He's a nice man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Very nice man.
So
what priorities for the district do you see?
So my first priority would be that when I moved here, one of the things that I noticed, and it hit home because I grew up in a not so wealthy part of Corpus Christi. And
I've yet to see the wealthy part of Corpus Christi. The whole thing is the barrio. I go there a lot. I'm like, wow. Even Ocean Drive, you're like, paint that.
Yeah, it's good. It needs some work there.
Yes.
But one of the things that I noticed when I was in Corpus is there was quite a few homeless people, and I did my best to help. I volunteered with the church to go and feed the homeless and things like that. But when I got here, it's a smaller community. I didn't expect to see as much homelessness, and there's actually quite a bit here. I mean, there was an article that came out that the homeless population in Victoria has tripled over the past couple of years. And
from 8 to 24, the rest are just panhandlers that are looking for a free buck.
Yeah.
Or meth heads.
And that's really a big problem for this community, especially for District 3. With it being the main shopping area in town, the homeless and the panhandlers, they really set up shop there. And, that negatively affects our businesses. When a business is coming into town, they're going to look at that and they're going to think, okay, do I want to, invest in this community when they have 10 homeless people standing right in front of this lot that I could potentially build in? Is this going to be good for my customers? And I don't think it is. And so I really think that we need to come together and figure out a way to help the homeless people get off the street and, reduce panhandling.
Yeah.
So that we can really start to grow.
Ash and I, several years ago, we had Sheriff Louderback come on, and Ash and I were both thinking about illegal immigration and people sneaking into our country and all that. And it wasn't until Sheriff Louderback came on, and for many of our listeners, enlightened them to the idea that some of these people are actually being trafficked. They're being sold into indentured servanthood. They're being sold into slavery. They're being put into prostitution. These are victims more than they are, creepers or sneakers. They're not just sneaking into our country. I think
and
that
some of those standing on the street corners are there to pay off their indentured servitude. There's
Right.
a lot of money laundering and stuff going on
True
with some of
story.
the panhandling.
But the way, in like kind, I like to reshape the way people look at our homeless situation and say there are people that are temporarily homeless, like they have some bad fortune, they lose a business, or COVID made them go broke, and they're temporarily homeless, and they're trying to get out of that lifestyle.
Yeah.
There are people who have mental health issues, and we've talked to our sheriff about it, and they're working on, we don't want to incarcerate those people, we want to help those people, and that's a portion of the quote-unquote homeless population, is those with the mental health issues. And then there's the, I choose to be a meth head, and I'm just a deadbeat loser homeless person. They're out there, okay? And those are the ones that are strangely the most visible. My goal for Victoria, and what I will hound you about when you're on council, I want you to work to make sure that we don't have any homeless veterans in our city, no matter their plight, whether they're on drugs, whether they have mental health issues. Those folks deserve our respect, our love, and our care. The rest of them, get them out of my city. The rest of them, load them up and get them out of here.
I'm the son of a veteran, so that really hits home. I don't want to see any homeless veterans either. They sacrifice so much for our community and for our livelihood that we need to do what we can to protect them, when they get back home.
You still have your father?
I do.
Tell him that we said thanks for his service. It means the world. It's all they did was save the world. It's all they've done. All these veterans, all they did was save the world. And we're seeing it now. We're being attacked from within and attacked from, this. You're.
I never thought I'd see Mark.
You're much younger. The cyber world is crazy. So we have a caller. See if we can get a caller on the air.
Next one over. Fixed that yesterday. Good morning, Wade and Carter.
Hello.
This one we fixed it. No, it's.
Hello.
Hang on.
Ash is working. He's working. Are you
Good morning,
there?
Wade and Carter.
Nobody there.
Nobody there. Let me try this one then.
Good
Good morning, Wade and Carter.
That sounded good. Well, yeah.
I did. I know. We
Yeah,
had
I have
it
a
fixed
question.
yesterday.
I have a question for Mr. Franco. How would he monetize the park, and what's the best way to raise funds for the park? It's a good, that was the caller. That was our caller. We pretend we have callers, so we're not a very big show.
Well, I don't think that we need to monetize
There, now it
the
seems to
park
be working.
necessarily.
There we go. It's working now.
I think we need to take advantage of our park system and really, take that and run with it.
Oh, it's Alan West.
Good morning, Wade and Carter.
I can't hear you.
No, I don't know what. It's something
It's a bad day. Can't hear you. I hear. Oh, yeah, that's it. It's trying.
Is he there?
Colonel? Nah, we got nothing.
No, I don't know what the problem is. We can fix it.
Here we are in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Unbelievable. Colonel, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do.
I don't either, to be honest, because the phone call is coming through for whatever reason. It's not coming from through the board somehow.
It's only Alan West.
I know.
Unbelievable.
All right, let's
Answer
try
this
one
phone.
more time. One more time.
Hello?
Good morning, Wade and Carter.
He's not there.
No.
That's very frustrating. We had an interview scheduled this morning with Colonel Alan West, and he just hasn't. Yeah, look, we're getting called out. We're getting called out by our listeners. I don't blame you, folks.
So, all right. I don't know what's going on with the phone line this morning, but it ain't working.
Anyway. So we'll stay local. We'll keep it local. We'll do it with Alan West. If he calls back, I'll answer that line in a second. Anyway, tell me about the park. What are we going to do with the park?
I really think that we need to take advantage of our park system. We have some of the best parks here, and I enjoy them myself, and I think that they're an asset to this community, and we need to use them. And I think they're underutilized. I know a prime example is there's that amphitheater out at Ethel Lee Tracy Park, and it was built by the city, and I can't think of a time that it was used prior to Theater Victoria going out there and putting on a musical, in the middle of a pandemic, because being outside was the thing that we could do. So things like that we need to take advantage of and offer those to the community and make it easy for us to use it, because if we don't, it's just wasting our money and our time.
Yeah, it wasn't used and hadn't been used, and you have to wonder. I mean, for all those years it sat there and it's been used a little bit, but is it something that needs to be done? So, but Riverside Park is often the one that's discussed, and
Good morning, sir.
For Victoria. It is the crown jewel of our park system. It is the one that everybody talks about. Have you spent much time in Riverside Park?
I have, yeah. I actually go down there when I need to get stress relief. I'll go walk the hike and bike trail, or I'll just hang out in the park, hang out at the beach, just to get away from the stress of the digital world. So it's a complete asset. I love the park. I take my dog out there. It's a good place to be, and I think we need to use it.
How can it be improved? Because that's the one thing everybody says, well, we got a great park, we got a river. I've always been a proponent of cleaning up the sight lines along the river, because I think they're hidden by a lot of the brush and some of the scrub that's along there. But as someone who uses the park frequently, what do you see? What can be done to improve it?
Well, I think cleaning it up is going to be a big part of it. But we are a city built on a river. I think we need to take advantage of that and really get people out onto that river and exposed to that type of life, and show them that they can go out to Riverside Park and have a good time.
That really is what we have. We have a historic downtown, we have a beautiful park, and we have a river. And if you really look at it that way, we've done nothing as a city to generate any buzz or make any money off any one of those things ever. We allowed downtown to dilapidate until 20 years ago. We have done nothing but take amenities out of the park. It used to have a cool little train, and people have been trying to move the Texas Zoo out of there for years. And there's some good reasons to do these things, but the park, instead of cool things coming in, things have been going out.
Yeah, and I recently attended the joint Parks Commission and City Council meeting where they talked about the plans for Riverside Park and Ethel Lee Tracy and MLK Park. And the commission and City Council just weren't satisfied with what was proposed for the updates to Riverside Park. And honestly, neither was I. They were trying to make it just let's throw everything in all these little spots, but they weren't really taking advantage of what the park has to offer. One of the things that they were looking at is minimizing the disc golf course, which thousands of people come here to play disc golf.
Right.
And they didn't even focus on the river. This is a river city. We need to use that. And other cities are taking advantage of their river system.
We run away from ours. We run away from our interstate corridor. I've never understood that.
Yeah, we need to go towards those things. We need to develop them so that people come here to float our river and stay in our hotels.
Absolutely. Ash, where's Scott?
I'm glad to see City Council and the Parks Commission take a step back and not push forward with something that nobody's happy with, because I think you see that very often in governmental entities where, well, we've spent this money and all this time, we can't just let it go to waste. And they push forward with a plan. So I credit City Council for taking that step to say, you know, this isn't really what we're not happy with this. Yeah. So let's try it again. So, you know, I know there was, and COVID might have played a role in this. I know at times there was good feedback and a lot of participation from citizens. Then at other times it was real hard to get citizens involved. So I'm hoping that now that we're, you know, hopefully on the backside of this pandemic, we can see we can work to get more involvement and feedback into our parks. Speaking of which, I know there's we've got a lot of money coming free from the American Relief Plan or coming to Victoria. Any ideas on how that has to be spent or can be spent, or, you know, do you have ideas for that money if you were to be elected City Council representative for District 3?
Yeah, there are some restrictions for that American Rescue Plan money that the city's going to be receiving. And I really think that as a whole, we need to take a look at it. And, you know, the city does a good job of getting surveys sent out to the community and getting our citizens involved. And I think we need to do that again and say, you know, this is the money we have, this is how it can be allocated. What do you want to see it used for? And then really, you know, looking at those answers and figuring out, is it worth it? Or is this, you know, they're asking for something extremely crazy just because they can?
Right. And
really taking the opportunity to, you know, benefit our local community and invest in ourselves, because we have to do that first if we want others to do it for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bob Constantine says the Duck Pond project seems to have taken a long time. I'm sure you've heard about it a lot, and you've seen it because you go down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have what have you learned as a candidate or even as a citizen for the problems with the Duck Pond, and how do we finally move that project to completion?
You know, the Duck Pond is actually one of the first things I noticed when I moved here too. I went down.
That's a great first impression to Victoria, isn't it?
I went down to Riverside Park and I was like, oh, whoa, what's going on here?
The La Brea tar pits.
You know, but the city did just receive the grant, so that they're going to be able to, you know, get that project going. And I'm excited to see it finish. I think it's an asset to the community as well, and we can really, you know, when I have friends and family come into town, I want to take them down to Riverside Park and to the Duck Pond, and, you know, be exposed to those things. And when you have a fence up, it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah.
Peter McNally says we've let many American cities go by the wayside to please developers, and I agree. And you know, it's interesting. I've seen some comments and pushback on growing the city. There are people in the city that don't want to see growth. I don't understand that, because to me, if you're not growing as a city, you're dying, and you're expecting your citizens to foot more of the bill to repair your infrastructure. So what do you say to those folks in your district that say, Victoria's just fine the way it is?
You're right, it is fine the way it is, but I think that this community deserves better than just fine. I think we need to, you know, start developing and have businesses coming in and continue to grow, because that's what makes us a successful city, and that's what makes us a place where people want to live and have a family.
Well, you know, it's always been an agricultural and a ranch area, and one thing that's inhibited the growth until relatively recently, the river inhibited the growth, because when I was a kid, you either had to go all the way up, like to go to nursery.
Yeah.
You had to go all the way up 77, and you had to go all the way around and across the Mini Street Bridge and go out that way. Going to Schrader Hall was a journey. Now you just jump on the loop and you're there. But I think that the city is kind of ranch bound. There's large tracts of land owned by old Victoria families that surround our city. And, you know, unless they want to start selling some of that or donating some of that land to the city for growth, it's difficult to. Urban sprawl is not going to happen here because we're kind of landlocked.
Matt Oker has a question, and I'm kind of going to read between the lines. I'll read his question. Why does it seem like the things people actually want require grant money to do? It seems to me what he's really saying is there seems to be a disconnect between what the people want and what city council wants. And how do we bridge that gap? So that's my question to you. How do you, if you're elected, bridge that gap? Because the people have been clamoring to fix the Duck Pond, and our answer is we need grant money to do it. Why not prioritize some other money if it's that important to the citizens of Victoria?
Yeah, and I especially recently, where projects are getting pushed, and there's really no explanation why. And during the recent debate with Caleb Shaw, I said that communication is going to be key for this community to continue to grow. And really, just I think what we need to do is let our community know this is why we have to postpone this project, because XYZ takes precedent. And we wholeheartedly believe that if we were to do the duck pond first instead of fixing roads or developing this area, we're going to be struggling 5-10 years down the road. So I think just communicating that to the community and why we need government assistance, or we need assistance in order to pay for these projects, is going to be a key factor. Letting everybody know what's going on.
Marie Day said those families are never going to sell that ranch land, and I agree, Marie, and I think that's probably good. So what we have to focus on here is maximizing quality of life in Victoria. We have to renovate. We need Chip and Joanna to come to town and fix up a couple of huts, and we know the words shiplap and things like that.
And fresh paint.
And we need to spruce up what we've got. I've long been a proponent of Beautify Victoria, and as a phrase, that's not any type of organization. I don't know what we do, to get people motivated to make Victoria a more beautiful place. It doesn't take much.
No,
I used to call for people, if you're in one of these strip centers and you're a tenant, just put a potted plant out in front of your office and walk out there every day. Instead of going out there and working 3 cigarettes, walk out there with a glass of water and pour it on that plant and say hi to it and go back in the house, and everybody's happy. Everybody wins with that.
I think the other thing that we need to do as a whole is, we have a lot of businesses opening and starting their business here. We need to support them. We see businesses come up, and then a few months down the road, they're closing.
Right.
As a community, we need to,
unless it's a mattress store, a check cashing place,
a New Mexican restaurant, and what was the third one?
There was another.
Yeah, there was another one that always comes up, but that's
always work.
Those types of businesses, to me, aren't the types of businesses that help grow a thriving community. No. They cater to people who are struggling to make ends meet, and they get caught in a revolving cycle of bad debt and too much debt. Another hot topic is economic development. How do you, how do you see Victoria's efforts as an outsider, and if elected, what needs to be fixed to help economic development?
Well, I think we're on the right track. I think Mayor McCoy really laid a good foundation for us to have a good economic development plan, and I think the current city council is doing everything that they can to help as well. But really, I think we need to go back into investing in ourselves and really thinking about how we want this city to grow, and we want it to be successful as a whole, because we're the ones that need to put in the work right now, so that other people want to come in and establish their business or move their company here and create jobs, so that we can continue this growth effort and success rate for Victoria.
Jeff Fonseca adds that you've got to anchor that strip center with a game room.
That might have been the other one, yeah.
There's the key. Jim Simpson chimed in game room. Jimmy Three Cheese likes to go play a little 8-liner. It's only with disposable income. He's not an addict. He won a roll of toilet paper just 3 weeks ago.
Where can people learn more about your campaign? Where can they go to get involved, to help if somebody wants a yard sign?
Yeah, absolutely. You can visit my website, AaronRFranco.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. I'll elect Aaron Franco for city council. That'll be the first one that comes up. But the
fantastic
information is going to be my website.
Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And you're welcome to come back as well. But it's not like a one-shot deal. If you're out and about, anybody that's out and about at 7 o'clock in the morning, you stick your head in, we're going to acknowledge you. Maybe with a gunshot, but I mean, in general, if you come through the door, we're going to say hi.
Yeah, and offer you a microphone. And
yeah, if you're out and about, come by anytime. I'm going to tell you, folks, I find him to be a delightful young man. He's sincere in what he's doing. And
a fresh set of eyes.
And a fresh set of eyes looking at the situations in our city, And by the way, if you want to go by and open a checking account at Frost, you can meet him, and it'd be free checking. It doesn't cost you nothing. Put $10 in the bank and send you some checks. then he'll cover your checks. If they're hot, it's okay. That's how you get elected. But Aaron, seriously, thank you. I think you have great ideas, and you seem like a delightful guy, and we're really glad to have you come in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you're here in Victoria as well.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here.
And
Awesome.
but I gotta have
You got
last
another-
word.
yeah, you
And you look nice today. What else, Ash? And we hope you have a great day, and thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, brother, be well, and good luck.
Thanks.
And run hard. There's only 2 ways to run, right? Unopposed and scared to death. So get after them. We appreciate it very much. Nice guy, Ash. Nice guy. Maybe
Aaron Franco,
too nice for
candidate for
politics, huh?
City Council District 3. We appreciate him stopping by and joining us this morning. A little longer visit than we had planned, but
Yeah,
technical glitches.
Is there a chance we could call the colonel?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So Lieutenant Colonel Alan West called in, and that's how you know we're big time here at Wade Carter. We just blow the colonel off. It's like, yeah, you're out.
Yeah. Not by choice, by
Yeah.
technical glitches and difficulties. We thought we had it fixed yesterday.
It will miraculously be fixed when
Ralph takes
Ralph
birthday
gets here.
calls.
And by the way, Ralph's usually here by now to tell us what's going on. He can say, "Hell, here's how you make it work." It's okay.
It's gonna work.
Ash thinks it's going to work.
No, it's not. It's too late now. We don't have
I'm
enough
never
time.
so optimistic. Tell you what, you
Not
can be
today.
optimistic. Adsenoffer, adsenoffer.com. Since 1926, Adsenoffer has been Victoria's dealer, period. Others have come and gone. There were Bowles, Troy, right? Bowles Motors, and there was Blackburn, Blackhawk, whatever. There's always been Adsenoffer.
Glad Motors.
Yeah,
Been a
glad.
bunch.
Since 1926.
Legend Mercury, wasn't that one that's come and gone?
There was one.
Legend?
Kovar, Leonard Kovar. I mean, come on, people.
They've
Adsenoffer.
all come and gone.
You got to have the crazy name to hang around in this game. Since 1926, it's Adsenoffer and adsenoffer.com. White Trash Services, 550-1826, a solemn moment. Folks, serious business. We want to inform you we're sad of the loss. BJ Nelson has lost her father. Apparently had a very fantastic life, but has passed away. And our
condolences
thoughts and prayers go out to the Nelson family.
Absolutely, and pray for your comfort and that your father's resting in peace.
Absolutely. And we have fun with BJ, but she and her family have been super good friends of the Wade Carter program. And they absolutely want to serve your family.
They do, and they do it well.
550-1826.
Have a fantastic day.
Yes, please. Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his family, his team will help you with your analytics, with your data, encrypting your data, protecting your data, keeping you from getting hacked, telling you who's trying to hack you.
If the phones worked, I'd ask JP to call and give us his thoughts on the fact that we apparently recovered most of the crypto that was given to the ransomware folks that held Colonial Pipelines.
Is that right?
Yeah, they recovered, I think, like 80-some-odd% of the cryptocurrency that was offered up as the ransom. And then I'm assuming this would be one of JP's competitors, but it looks like a number of websites were knocked offline yesterday because of a technical glitch from a third-party internet services company that is not Razor IT. So I'd like to get his thoughts on that. But the
It
phones
began
are
with an F. It began with an F. Fast Ride or something like that. What they are is they're like
effed up. That's what they are.
they're like a cloud. They're a cloud hosting deal that basically goes cloud to cloud to cloud, and supposedly it speeds up the transactions because of the proximity of each server, and it did not work properly, which means that somebody might want to call the law offices of Stephen Kidder. Steve will help you with will, trust, divorce, adoption. Stephen said, focus on the positive. I like to help people enter into contractual relationships. I like to help people
Solve their problems,
Set up-
not create more of them.
situations for their future financially. I like to help people adopt children. He's a very fine gentleman. We highly recommend the law offices of Steve Kidder. And then Complete 360, complete right here, the Health Bar
Health
on Red
bar,
River.
great food, healthy
Paninis,
food.
wraps. The waffle is incredible. I dare you to go in there. You can get it. It's infused with either blueberries or strawberries or pineapple or all of the above. You can go in and get a half and half. I usually get blueberry and strawberry. It has a wonderful whipped topping and the
Are you the
syrup.
blueberry or are you the strawberry?
I'm the strawberry
Are you
person.
Donnie or are you Marie?
Well,
A
I
little
would
bit country, a
probably,
little bit rock and roll.
right, Nice. Well played. Meet me in Montana.
That was Dan Seals.
Right? Some of the
Wasn't
best
it?
harmony ever.
Yeah.
Reach out to the Complete 360 folks. And while we're here, because if we get a chance to talk to the Colonel, we might run over. Let's talk about Terry Murray and Motto Mortgage. Terry, 541-5454.
For all your mortgage needs, give Terry a call. She can handle everything from conventional financing. If you're a first-time home buyer, she got mortgage programs for you. If you're a veteran, there's VA options available. Anything that you're looking to do to either buy a home or refinance or pay off your home quicker, Terry can help you solve those mortgage problems, answer your questions, and at the end of the day, you'll be leaving a very satisfied Motto Mortgage customer.
And I'll tell you something with great reliability. If you've been in your home over 5 years and you haven't done anything but make mortgage payments for those 5 years, you have a mortgage need. You just aren't aware of it yet. The interest rates are historically low. The cost to refi is historically low. And it is time for you to take advantage of these rates now, whether you know it or not. If you've been in your home over 5 years, you owe it to yourself to dial 541-5454. Went services for generators, solar panels, general plumbing, general electric work, whatever you need done, new homes, remodels, anything.
Yeah, you don't even need a hurricane to knock out your power. As we found out Saturday evening, a strong thunderstorm blows through and provides a serious disruption to your life. I was at a wedding. The power went out. Wedding was over.
Little old lady had the walking farts in Terra Vista. My lights went out. It's unbelievable.
It happens. But Went Services can help you with the generator and all your favorite brands that are American made.
No doubt about it. USA Concrete Coatings 578 Home. That's Charlie Garcia. Reach out to Charlie. He'll help you with a polyurethane coat in your garage, porch, patio, pool deck. He will help you upgrade
Covered walk.
everything.
What's that, a portico? Is that
A
right?
portico with accoutrement. Reach out. Ralph's here, the Hall of Famer, to see if he can fix his phone. And then we're going to reach out to Charlie Garcia and let him put a coat down. Cheryl, the Gray Barn. Cheryl is on the road right now.
Working on her skills even more so.
Right. You need to reach out to 920-6803 to plan your next party. Let her design your next party. 920-6803. So Ralph Salazar, the Hall of Famer and general electrician extraordinaire, I think he plays a little bass too. I don't know. I know he's a musician.
Thought it was drums.
No.
Thought it was drums.
Is it drums? Is he a drummer? Can you hear Brother Gary back there on the skins? That's Ralph Salazar, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
I taught him in junior high.
Trying to give Ralph some room to work here. So
Well,
slide over just a little bit. What do you make of some of these proposals to hold China accountable now that we've pretty much determined that the coronavirus did come from the Wuhan lab?
I just keep wondering when the Main Street media is going to, and I have a comment about Main Street media in just a second too. When is the Main Street media going to reach out and say, hey, we were a little hasty and we judged Donald Trump a little harshly for calling it the China virus. He was so beside himself. He was so tired of hearing the apologists say China didn't do this. It wasn't the Spanish flu. It was China didn't do this. And now it turns out, hey, guess what? China did that. And Fauci, they had a comment from him like last March. Well, there's no evidence anywhere that this emanated from this lab. And now Fauci's saying, well, there's no proof that it didn't come from this lab. That guy is the epitome of science of the moment.
He's almost science fiction at this point.
Yes, just a complete contradiction of himself. But you know who has held steady through all of this and been correct over and over and over again is Donald Trump. And I'm telling you that Donald Trump has said that there was widespread voter fraud. And you sent me an article today where an observer in Georgia said,
a poll manager said there were pallets of
pristine, because they
supposedly
looked like
mail-in ballots with no folds. They were all filled out the same. They're supposedly sitting in a secure site that after they were moved there, the site was broken into. Western Journal's got the article. You can go read it, but it's interesting
crazy.
to read
Says
this.
They all looked exactly the same.
They were filled out the same way. There were no discrepancies in how they were filled out. She said it looked like something was basically copied hundreds of thousands
just
of
Xerox
times. Yeah.
over and hundreds of thousands of times. So Donald Trump is being shown again and again and again to be correct on this, and he just wasn't part of the good old boy network.
I think it was Newt Gingrich who said the world needs to come together and put a 30% tariff on all Chinese products to make them pay for the coronavirus.
The world ain't gonna do it.
Here's the latest narrative that I'm not buying, that this was an accidental release.
No, that's a lie.
There
You know
is
that's a
no
lie.
way this thing just got stuck to somebody's shoe covering and they forgot to take it off and walked out of the lab with it and started infecting people at the wet market as they were buying their groceries to take home and
No,
cook.
that's a lie. That whole thing's a lie.
So, China was involved in the cover-up from the get-go, but I have a hard time believing that this was an accidental release. I have a hard time believing that this thing just slipped through the cracks of the shoddily constructed Wuhan as they turned the air conditioning on and the cold air was blowing out the window crack.
I'm not buying it.
That this thing just,
Not to
there's
mention
no way.
the thing wasn't able to be spread airborne like that at that time, supposedly.
So
How about this?
we're going to find out more. That's the latest slow play on this because the media will not jump into, they're having a hard enough time admitting without admitting that Donald Trump was right, or that the narrative that was first pushed by Donald Trump was not the lie that they painted it to be. So they're slowly coming around to, well, this might have been an accidental release. Folks, I'm no expert on these things, but I've read enough, and there's never been an accidental release anywhere else in the world.
Right.
If you're not in the nefarious acts and you're running laboratories, and biological weapons programs are illegal, by the way, they shouldn't be doing them.
That's why we do them in China. There's no liability.
Yeah, and we fund them here. So
the U.S. is involved, folks. Yeah. Your country is involved in this problem.
There's no accidental release. This thing was deliberate. The only thing released was the fact that this actually is the accidental release. The fact that it's starting to slip out that this wasn't bat stew at the wet market.
So let me throw something at you just to make you, I guess, proud. Those of you that have helped build Wade and Carter into the voice that we have, that we feel very serious about. Think about the other day.
Yeah, Patrick Strauss says what I was trying to say. You don't need to be an expert, just common sense.
Ash hosted or
moderated.
Caleb
Shaw hosted.
Caleb Shaw hosted. Ash moderated a debate that had all 8 candidates, the 3 mayoral candidates and the 5 running for city council. It was shown live on Facebook. Not one mention of that gathering appeared on your local TV channel, Channel 25. And doesn't it just make sense? They'd have a camera in the back. A group gathered today and held a debate, blah, blah, blah. All 8 candidates were there. Ash Wade.
You didn't even have to mention anybody.
Right. So Channel 25, nothing to see here. All 8 candidates in the same room. And your local paper, the modicum of the people, 0, no mention, not a whiff.
And you can't even blame a fear of COVID because it was streamed on the internet via YouTube and Facebook. So you could have stayed home in the comfort of your own home and watched it. And
all they had to do is have a reporter watch the video, maybe watch it twice, pick up a soundbite. Franco said he was interested in, the river. Crocker said this, and so-and-so said that, and Chad Hall said this. That nothing. You are a part of the changing of the guard. Where Victoria gets its information is much more in line with Wade and Carter than a local printed newspaper. And you're more informed. You know what's going on when it happens. So thank you. Thanks for being a part of the program. Thanks for supporting us. And thanks for keeping us accountable. We read all of your comments. If somebody says that's not right or I don't agree with that, then we get back to you on that.
And you know what? We don't delete them either.
No, they're not deleted. We don't monitor those to the point of there is, I've got a relative that types Brent sucks every morning. It's okay. I'm used to it. Well, we're going to get out of here. It's 8 o'clock.
Your mom's your harshest critic, isn't she?
My mom. And the drunk lady. Where's the drunk lady? Where have you been?
Oh, she can't get through today anyway.
Okay, good. Call us tomorrow. Ralph will have this phone thing worked out. We're going to get out of here today. The Hall of Famer, Ralph Salazar, will be here in a moment, along with Brother Gary Moses.
And we'll see you all manana.